morning everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Happy New Year! I hope that your 2022 has been off to a great start, and I must apologize a little bit if the ocean is super loud behind me. It is thundering down. There's some really good surf today, so it's quite loud in the background. But Blair and I have had a super great start to our 2022. Yeah, so far have started off the year surfing, spending so much time in the ocean, which has been amazing, and been going on a lot of micro missions, camping and finding new spots and doing a lot of birding and all of that stuff. In just a couple of days time, we will be heading off to the Kruger National Park. And I know you guys might be saying, oh my word, do these people ever go anywhere else? Breathe it in. Breathe in, the best place in South Africa. And here we go again, the Kruger National Park. I've woken up at Letaba Rest Camp in the Kruger National Park. We are officially in paradise. Welcome back to the Kruger National Park. The short answer is yes, sometimes, often actually. And the long answer is yes, sometimes, often actually. But if we find any opportunity to go to the Kruger, we run with it. And yeah, we'll be up there for the next 10 to 12 days. So on that same note, I am super excited to let you guys know that during the latter half of last year, I worked with an amazing company called Bright Trip, and they create travel courses and put together something called the Ultimate Safari Guide, which is an in-depth and comprehensive course into everything and anything relating to safaris or the bush. So if you've been trying to get around to planning your dream safari holiday and you have no cooking clue where to start, this course covers absolutely everything. It answers all of the most commonly asked questions that I get and a whole lot more. So if you're interested in that, I'll be playing the course trailer later on at the end of the video, so stick around. The link is in the description below, and you can use the discount code listed in the description for 15% off for the next while. But with that being said, let's jump into today's video. We have decided to spend a lot of time in the northern part of Kruger, and I will explain why in just a second. But first, I quickly want to go over our route and the camps that we'll be staying at. We will basically be driving from the southwestern tip of the country to the northeastern tip, to an area in Kruger that borders both Zimbabwe and Mozambique called Pafuri. We'll be staying at an awesome lodge in Pafuri first, followed by staying at the General Sand Parks accommodation. These camps include Punda Maria, Shingwetsi, Tsenze, which is a camping only spot, and Satara. So many of you might be asking, why the north of the Kruger? It is incredibly far to get to compared to the southern part, which arguably offers better game sightings. A couple of reasons, and I think the first one is that the north of the park is seriously Kruger's Eden. I can't explain the magic of the place. You need to obviously experience it for yourself. But the habitat as well in the north of the Kruger is unlike anywhere else in the park. There's few camps up north and there's a lot less road networks, so it means that the park is a lot quieter up north compared to down south, where things are a lot more accessible. Our second biggest motivator for heading up north is that it is renowned for being the best birding spot in all of Kruger, and there is good reason for this. It's extremely interesting, but I will explain this in a vlog when we are in the area itself, and you'll be able to see and understand why a bit better. But this time of year in summer, the birds up north are absolutely nuts. So yeah, obviously Blair and I are into birding, and that is one of the big reasons why we decide to head up north.
It's a bishop, it just looks so nice on the tree there.
Oh yeah, they are pretty. Tony, there's a Jacobin's cuckoo. Can you hear that? That's a parrot chain button.
There's two.
Yeah, woodpecker. Oh, there's a woodpecker. Yeah.
So our trip in Kruger is a mixture of both camping and staying at self-catering chalets. I know I did mention that we'll be staying in a lodge. We'll be staying here for 2 nights, but thereafter we'll be staying in the general Sandparks accommodation. We are staying in a unit that has a kitchen. Our previous chalet where we were staying was in Olifants, which is further south, also a beautiful camp. And we opted to stay in a place that didn't have a kitchen, mainly because that's actually all they had available, but it's much the same.
Kruger's just the basics, but it's all you need.
We'll be camping at Punta Maria first. We'll then drive a little bit further down south to Xingwetsi, where we will be staying in a self-catering chalet. And then we will be heading to Tsenze, which is a camping-only spot. You have to be fully self-sufficient. They do have toilets and running water there. And from there, we'll head to our last camp, which is Satara. This is in central Kruger, known for its big cat sightings. And in Satara, we'll be staying at another self-catering chalet. Blair, come look here quick. Looking at the weather for Kruger.
Is this for next? Is this for Saturday and Sunday?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So it looks like there's a massive low pressure coming in from like Madagascar, Mozambique.
Oh, this looks like Cyclone Eloise all over again.
2.0. So it's clear, and then when we get there on Sunday, I think Saturday is the worst of it.
Yeah, but I mean, check how much rain is forecast for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
I mean, I guess it is obviously rainy season, but
Yeah, I mean, we've literally timed it.
less than
The last 2 times we've decided to make the 2,000 kilometer journey up to the Kruger Park, specifically the far north. We've timed it perfectly with the arrival of
the cyclone.
a
All
cyclone.
I'm saying is pack your rain jacket.
South Africa, Eswatini and Malawi have issued warnings of heavy downpours and very strong winds.
Last night at about midnight, the heavens opened and it hasn't stopped since.
What was this like yesterday? I'm sorry, we didn't come out this way. Was there water in here or not? Just a tiny puddle. Really?
Yeah, no, yeah.
Holy smoke! So this is just this.
No, this is full.
This is just from today.
What is? How many miles are we on now?
120.
June to about September is considered peak safari season. This is often when lodges will have their most expensive pricing, and there is reason for this, and that goes into point B, which is when your game sightings are typically at its best or at the highest, and this is due to the low rainfall in the region. So with less rainfall, this means that the plants and the trees obviously have less water, and the leaves start falling off, leaving the trees and plants very bare. This means that your visibility into the bush is a lot further than what it would be in summer when the bush is extremely lush and green and your visibility is pretty limited. Another factor that goes hand in hand with low rainfall is that there is less water available for the animals in the bush. The non-perennial rivers will start drying up, small little watering holes will start drying up, and this leaves fewer water sources available for the animals in the park. So when you do find a water source at a watering hole or dam or whatever it is, it often means that the animals congregate around these watering holes in order to sustain themselves. In summer, in places like the Lowveld, in places like Kruger, it can be extremely hot. And not only hot, but because there's a lot of moisture in the air, it can be extremely humid.
It's super muggy.
This is the hottest I've been.
I wonder if the camera can pick up
6
the
o'clock.
beads of sweat dripping off your forehead.
So now you're probably thinking, well, why the hell would you go in summer when what you're telling me, you're not really selling it? I don't necessarily prefer summer to winter or winter over summer. I'll go anytime, I don't care. But there is something special about being in the bush when it's extremely lush and green. From a photographic point of view, there is a lot of vibrant colors around, so it's very pleasing on the eye. And one of the main motivators is that in summer, this is when the intra-African migrant birds, as well as the European migrants, are in the Kruger. So these migrant specials will typically start arriving in the Kruger in about November, and they will start to leave to go back to Europe or other parts of Africa in around March, April. The third and final aspect that I'm going to take you through is some of the essential items that we pack, or that I pack rather, when going on a bush trip to somewhere like Kruger. So starting from, I guess, the bottom of the body, and that would be shoes. These are awesome shoes. They're a local company called Sapmark. And for those of you who aren't South African, these are what we call, hang on. These are a type of shoe that we call veldskoens here in South Africa. It translates to field shoes. And these have been around since the dawn of time. They've obviously now become a lot more fashionable and look a lot sexier than what they used to back in the day. But you will see a lot of field guides sporting vellies. They are incredibly robust. Generally made from leather, although I think you definitely can get vegan versions. And then I guess sticking on the clothing train, some sort of protective hat. But yeah, just a bucket hat or any form of hat that will offer a lot of protection. Talking of protection, temperatures are likely to be extremely hot. Even in winter, the daytime temperatures can soar, and having a closed shirt is definitely advised, and also a pair of lungs. But while you're driving in the car and your arms are out the window, you can get incredibly burnt. Yeah, definitely packing some long shirts and some long pants, especially for the evenings. And insect repellent. In winter, this isn't so much of a necessity, but in summer, when the mozzies and the insects are all over the place, I would definitely recommend an insect repellent. If you are staying in a lodge, most lodges do actually provide you with repellent when you get there in your room. Secondly, a head torch. I would recommend bringing a head torch. That is very bright, thank you. I would recommend bringing a head torch whether you are camping or self-catering or staying in a lodge. It's just nice to be equipped with your own torch whenever you might need it. Obviously camping, it's a bit of a necessity, as well as sometimes in the self-catering chalets if you need to move from one part of camp to another. But yeah, definitely a good head torch is a recommendation of mine. Arguably for me, more important than taking a camera with. These bad boys are going to stand you in such good stead. I am glued to this thing. When we're in the bush, these do not leave our lap. They're constantly around our neck. They are everywhere we go. You just never know what's going to pop up, but it also just allows you to obviously get magnification on an animal and to observe it a bit more closely, which is always quite special. Then onto the camera gear. So if you've got your binocs, you then pack your camera gear. I'm actually currently shooting on a Canon R6, and yeah, I'm using the Sigma 150 to 600 lens. This is for the Canon mount. So yeah, a telephoto lens on safari is always great, obviously not a necessity, but for me, this is something that I always pack along with my binocs. And then lastly, moving on to field guides. If you're interested, this is just to kind of expand the knowledge base. This is our bird book that we religiously take with us everywhere. If I have missed anything, which is highly likely, just feel free to drop them in the comment section down below, and we can all kind of share our suggestions and see what works for you when you head off on your trips. It doesn't have to be a safari trip, but your outdoor adventures. Yeah, so I think that wraps up what to pack. I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you've got any questions, just leave them down in the comment section below. Just a reminder that my Ultimate Safari Guide course goes live today. I'm going to play the trailer in just a little bit. It's really epic. Check it out. And yeah, don't forget about the discount code link below to get 15% off for the next while. But otherwise, I will be seeing you guys for a whole range of Kruger vlogs when our trip starts in just a couple of days' time. Thanks for watching. Give it a thumbs up, like, comment, do all of the things. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. There is nothing quite like the experience of going on safari. When you head into the bush, you get to step away from your stressful, busy life back home in exchange for what feels like a whole new world. A world where giants, predators, and wild animals roam freely. And there is something really magical about catching a glimpse of these animals in the wild. My name is Nicole Eddy, and I grew up coming here to the bush and have been lucky enough to experience the thrills and the wonders of safari from a very early age. Join me as I take you on a trip into the bush. I'll help you orientate yourself on topics such as safari destinations in both southern and eastern Africa. From how to decide which country to visit, to accommodation options, what to pack, and the best time of year to visit. I'll also make sure that you are informed before you go. The Big Five, for example, is something that you will hear a lot about whilst on safari. So I'll teach you more about that, as well as give you some background on something like the Great Migration. It is known to be one of nature's greatest spectacles for very good reason. And of course, I will take you through a typical day on safari, what to expect and how to get the most out of this exciting, adventurous trip. By the end of this course, my hope is that you will feel empowered to organize and enjoy your very own safari trip. I cannot wait to show you some of my favorite places on earth. So please come and join me for the ultimate safari guide.